Welcome to Around the Track, the most exciting 15 minutes in wealth management by Dynasty Financial Partners and hosted by CEO Shirl Penney.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of Around the Track, the most exciting 15 minutes in wealth management. I'm your host, Shirl Penney, President and CEO of Dynasty Financial Partners. I am super excited about today's taping because I'm able to sit down with my longtime good friend and colleague, Mason Salit. Mason and I have been able to work together for almost 20 years now. He's the Chief Talent Officer at Dynasty Financial Partners for the home office as well as for our network, meaning he works with our team to identify and develop talent, works with the network firms, the RIAs in our network to think through talent strategy. And I like to tell people Mason has one of the highest EQs of anyone I've had an opportunity to work with in my career, so he's incredibly well suited for the role that he plays here at Dynasty. Mason, thanks so much for being with us today.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me, and I'd love to participate and talk a little bit about talent in the wealth management industry.
And they're off.
So let's jump in because we only have 15 minutes. You know the rules. We're going to ask you 8 questions. Each question represents one of the 8 furlongs as we're going to make our way around the track together. So the first question and how you break from the gate matters, right? This is an easy one. Right. So let's break out of the gate quick. Just tell us a little bit about Mason, your background, and what has shaped your perspective that you bring to the role here at Dynasty today.
Wonderful. So I'll talk first a little bit about from a personal standpoint. So I'm married for 31 years to the love of my life, Lauren. I have 3 children, 27, 25, and 23. Actually, my eldest daughter, Taylor, worked at Dynasty as a summer analyst about 6 years ago, and she's actually getting married in September and just started Columbia Business School.
Awesome.
So I
Congrats.
think her start at Dynasty was an important part of her career development. For me, I've had an incredible career. I've been very fortunate to work with great people like you, Shirl, and I've been 30 years plus in banking prior to coming to Dynasty. In those roles, I ran retail branches when I was 26 and 27. So I've had general management experiences. I've been on the domestic side in retail, mass affluent, the private bank business, and then you brought me over to the, as we joke, dark side in 2005 to work on the brokerage side of the business at Smith Barney, where I first worked for you many years ago. And I just have been very fortunate in my career to have various opportunities to run businesses, to be an operator, to be on the product side, on the sales side, on the domestic, international, HR, recruiting side. So all these things led to a culmination at this part of my career to be able to come at really at the, in the later part of my career to come to Dynasty and be able to leverage all that for the benefit of our team and our clients. So I'm really excited to be in the role that I'm in. I feel like it's the role that I was born to be in. I'm a man of faith, and I think it's meant to be that I'm here. It only took me 6 years, 6 years to actually come to Dynasty and realize that that's where I actually belonged.
Well, look, we're lucky to have you, and I appreciate all that diversity within your background, which has shaped your perspective in that you can help guide somebody as the Chief Talent Officer, because oftentimes you've done the role over the course of your career. But look, Chief Talent Officer for the Dynasty Network, that sounds like a really big role. I know it's a big role, but could you unpack it a little bit more? What are you focused on? What do you spend your time doing in that role?
To answer the question, what gets me up in the morning, and I don't fly as much as I used to out of the bed at my age, but I love talent. I mean, to me, every time I have an opportunity to interact with someone, it's an opportunity to connect, to make an assessment of that person, and to try to look at how we might fit that person into our organization as we grow. So for me, talent is very, very important. We are building the team that's transforming the wealth management industry on the independent side of the business. And I think we have our best years ahead of us in terms of recruiting, developing, assessing talent. So that's one. The second is I love working with clients. And I'm so excited that I'm going to be working even more closely with clients in 2022 and beyond. I think there's an opportunity to leverage all the things that I've done in my career and to benefit. I have no other goal but to support the team here and our clients.
Right. Look, you and I have talked a lot about this, and we both agree there's nothing that differentiates one wealth management firm than another more than the quality of their team, right? And obviously the leaders and the teams that have the strongest personnel, that interact with the best cultures, those are the ones that we feel strongly are going to win disproportionately going forward. So I agree with everything you said there. So let's take a half step back. You mentioned the wealth management industry there in your response. If you look out over the next 5 years, let's say, what has you really excited about from where you sit about the wealth management industry?
I think there's a lot to be excited about. And I think just to go back to your point, when you look at leaders, they have to be able to provide that vision, right? And those that don't are not going to have people who are engaged. And you can have leaders in businesses that have tremendous vision statements and mission statements, but if you don't have the right talent to execute, you're not going to be successful. So I feel that personally, I'm really well positioned to be able to provide that to our team and to our clients. So I'm excited about that. I mean, look, there's just great talent that's coming into the industry. I mean,
Right.
When you think about just the old-time brokerage business versus the independent space, it's a pull. People want to be here. I am very fortunate in my role that I speak to every candidate in the beginning, so I get to hear messaging like, we've been following Dynasty for the last 3 years or 5 years. We know about what you're doing. We believe in it. To me, that's a great sign for our industry, and it's a great sign about the type of talent that's coming into the industry. I also am very excited about the fact that platforms that are technology enabled, like Dynasties, are able to support entrepreneurs as they're building their businesses. And I think that's just going to be the norm going forward. And I think we have first mover advantages and barriers to entry for those people that are trying to come into the space. So I think we're very well positioned. We get great feedback from our candidates, and it's just a great time for us to support our clients in what they're doing too.
Okay, great. So let's quickly reverse it. What are you most concerned about over the next 5 years?
I would say I don't think we're doing enough to bring in the best and brightest into the industry. I think organizations are going to have to be a lot more creative and how they're looking to recruit. They're going to have to look at different distribution channels, use social media more, work more closely with schools. For example, I interviewed somebody and they actually asked us to participate in a program at Columbia. Has an MPS program. It's a Master's in Wealth Management. I think more and more we need to have that, and organizations are going to have to connect with those schools to be able to leverage the great talent that's coming out of those programs. I'm concerned about diversity. I think the financial services business and industry has been behind the curve for many, many years. I think we've done a lot. I think Dynasty has done a lot, but we still have work to do there to bring in people with diverse experiences and backgrounds and thoughts.
Yeah. Look, there's been a lot of talk recently about the great resignation and talent challenges in light of some of the change around what we've experienced with the pandemic. Research has suggested, at least specific to the wealth management industry, there hasn't been the same level of resignation, which is great because I think we would strongly agree again, this is one of the most important industries in the country. But what do you think over the next several years has changed, right? And what would you tell leaders and firms that are looking to attract talent in terms of thinking perhaps differently over the next couple years than maybe what they did pre-pandemic?
Yeah, I would say it's a very tight labor market right now, but that could change very quickly with the economy. And so that makes it a little bit more difficult. You have to be a little bit more creative. Organizations, again, going back to my point, need to be creative and how they're going out and being able to attract great talent. We're very fortunate because as we built our brand out, we get a lot of internal referrals and warm referrals, and those people tend to work out at a much higher percentage rate. From a pandemic standpoint, there was definitely an impact. The world has changed. It's never going back to where it was. I think there are organizations that we're competing with that have not even gone back to the office, or when they do go back to the office, it's going to be in a hybrid model. I think we did a terrific job. I mean, I won't take the credit, but the fact that Dynasty really looked at where we were and how we were going to be able to support our clients, and then looked at how we could provide what our team needed in order to feel comfortable coming to the office. So we spaced everyone out 6 feet. We had only half the people coming in, but we were back in the office in June of 2020. And we've been since, and we've hired people during COVID. So I think we did a terrific job. I think we handled it well, but the pandemic has made it, I would say, an indelible change in the way we look at talent. So there are going to be those organizations that don't feel it's necessary to have the team in. But when you look at Dynasty and how we're supporting our clients, it's necessary to be in the office. And there's a tremendous amount of learning that takes place when the team is in the office versus working from home.
Right. Yeah, those are definitely the two big things that I continue to hear from the advisors that we're supporting, that are CEOs of their businesses. It's very challenging to hire and develop new talent, right, to do the professional development and training remotely. And we also hear it's really tough to enhance and build culture without being proximate, right, without being together. So agree with the comments there. Look, we're turning for home now, right? So we're moving into the home stretch. So let's pick up some momentum, as we close out this time together. It's crazy for me to say this out loud. I was thinking about it, as I was thinking about this conversation. You have overseen just in the last couple years, as in a little over 2 years since we moved to St. Pete, hiring over 50 people at Dynasty. Crazy number in a short period of time. But you're also really engaged with a number of our network firms, helping them think through key hiring as well. And more broadly, over the course of your career, you've hired a lot of people. So as you sit here today, given all that experience, is there a couple questions or characteristics or a certain type of attitude? What do you really hone in on to say, I'm looking for these things in any new team member? And then the reverse of that, are there a handful of things that you see that you're like, I'm going to stay away from this candidate when I see those types of characteristics?
Yeah, I think you and I have a lot of discussions around talent and hiring. And what I hear from you consistently, and I know that I know, but we talk about it anyways, that we're not hiring for a role. We're hiring people that are going to come in and want to be part of our organization, and they become an organizational asset. So it's the job they come into isn't necessarily the role they're going to be in a couple of years, right? So we're looking for people that viscerally believe in what we're doing. The fact that we're going out and supporting entrepreneurs for the benefit of their end client, we need people that believe that. I'm also looking for people, and we ask a lot of questions during the interview process, to look for people that are all in, that are going to be 150% dedicated to what we're doing in support of our clients and as we build our business. And I also, because I think our business is going to be dramatically larger over the next 3 to 5 years, I'm looking for people that have capacity to grow from day one. So what we're not looking for on the other side are people that fit in a box, right? And I can talk from 30 years of being in big banks. That's when you're a cog in the wheel, that's your role. So I actually ask a lot of questions to ensure that people are going to be comfortable to take on more responsibility whenever that happens. And not just comfortable, but actually excited about it. So it's viscerally believing what we're doing, all in, capacity to grow. What's important is that everybody has a voice. And so I ask the question about having the voice, not only having a voice, but using it. Because everyone here, if they don't know Dynasty, everybody has a voice here, no matter how junior. And that's something that you promote and the leadership team promotes. So we're looking for people who want to have that voice and who are going to use it. I would say from what we're not looking for are people who are job hoppers, right? And when I look at a resume and someone's been working 20 years and they have 10 jobs, that just doesn't work because we're not really sure why they've left all those different jobs. But we want people who will be committed to what we're doing and are going to want to develop and have their full career here and be able to have a lot of different experiences.
Yeah, similarly what we say about our clients, right? We're not trying to be something to everyone. We're trying to be everything to someone, right? Someone that's all in. I love that. And then we also talk a lot about hiring for attitude over skills, right? Not attitude, no skills, right? But attitude over skills that will fit the culture. You get a star, in the boat, and great things can happen over time. And we've demonstrated, I think of Justin Winkle as an example, who's our chief financial officer. Justin came in as a summer analyst, right, and has worked his way up through the organization.
And many other people in our firm came through that program.
Yeah. So. All right, great. So let's shift towards the topic of leadership. I need to ask you one question specific to leadership, which is, you've seen a lot of leaders, some good and some not as good. If you could sum it up, what's one or two things that really differentiates, in your view, a great leader from one that, let's say, that perhaps isn't?
I think it's that vision. Right? I think it's important that people all are rowing in the same direction. So people understand it, it's clear, and they can then be 150% invested in that vision. So to have that vision and for it to be consistent and to be part of the business, that's very important. Great leaders, they provide an opportunity for everybody to go along for the ride. Not just the senior team, but everybody. Everybody gets to be part of that success. And I think that's something that we've done a great job. I think, Shirl, you've done a terrific job of making sure that we understand what that vision is, why it is, and you explain things so that everyone can understand, no matter what level they're at in the organization, on why we're doing what we do and why what we do makes a difference and why our clients are entrusting their life's work to us. That's very, very important. And that's validated to me when I'm speaking with candidates and debriefing after them speaking with 6 or 7 or 10 people at the firm, and I'm hearing from them that they've never interviewed with an organization that had such a consistency of message from every person they interviewed, whether it was junior, new, long-term employee, senior person. And we certainly do not do any coaching with our interviewers. We believe that we've hired the right people and they know what we're looking for. So to hear that message, that it was consistent with every single person, means that you and we've done a great job of making sure that people understand that. The challenge, I think, is we're taking people that have been in businesses and now we're making them CEOs. And it is very difficult to be CEO. You know that, right?
Yes.
And sometimes where I think we're going to continue to support our clients is having those difficult conversations with maybe people that are not working well, and how to coach and develop them and get them to the next point, or to move them out of the organization. And I think one of the great things that we've done is we have this program with MIT, which is the Advisors CEO program, which is taking place in May. I'm actually very excited to be part of that. I think the more that we can do to support our teams and our clients and the CEOs in their ability to build their business so they can focus on their business, not in their business, the better off their end clients will be, and obviously the better off our business will be.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the fact that you mentioned Advisor to CEO. That is a program I think that over time will be a major differentiator for being in the Dynasty Network. We have partnered with the Sloan Business School at MIT, and a number of the professors there are very engaged. We're actually headed off in the next couple of months to a 3-day offsite at MIT with 20 of the CEOs in our network, and I'm super excited about that. Okay, last question. We're a couple months away from the first leg of the Triple Crown, which is obviously the Kentucky Derby. I'm excited that I'll be going with a number of our clients again this year, and then you go on to the Preakness and the Belmont Stakes, and that's what makes up the Triple Crown. There's a lot of trainers and jockeys and owners and their teams right now. They're getting ready to make this big push and this big run, and that's the culmination, of their careers, and it's this massive, heavy, goal that they're all running towards. So, last question for you is, what's that big, bold, out there goal for you that you're running towards? What's Mason Salit's Triple Crown?
Well, I'll talk a little bit tactically and more strategically. We've already had 9 people start since the beginning of the year, which is pretty incredible. We have 25 plus more roles to fill. So I think we're going to be busy. I'm going to be very busy. I look forward to that because, again, when people see me coming out of an interview, they can just tell I've seen because I'm a great candidate, because I'm so energized. It really can turn even a tough day into a wonderful day to see a great talent. It's like a diamond in the rough. So I think if we can fill those roles and bring in the right type of people who are going to help us and help our clients as they're building their businesses, that's one piece. The second piece definitely is being able to work with our clients more closely and to support them in their hiring needs and how they're going to look at their teams and how they're going to develop and how they're going to assess, and then provide that opportunity both internally and with our clients to recruit, assess, hire, develop, and retain talent. To me, that's very important because sometimes you bring in people, but we don't develop them enough. I think we've done a great job. We have a great program. I actually talk to candidates about the fact that we provide unorthodox professional development because of the way they learn here and the type of environment that we have in the office. So I'm really excited about that. And, I think if I had to put a cherry on the top from a strategic, more personal standpoint, I would like to get to the point where I'm known in the industry as being the leader from a talent recruiting standpoint in the independent space.
Great. Well, Mason, thank you so much for sitting down with me today for this conversation. I've enjoyed it very much. And thank you as well for joining us on another edition of Around the Track.